Hey, hi, hello friends, it is I. And look, there's actual daylight coming in through my window. I know, isn't it amazing? So, I'm back today with a Pickety Witch hairstyle. This is essentially just me having washed it and then forgotten that it exists while it dried on its own. And my sister made me part it in the middle because apparently side parts are no longer cool. And once more, just because I am old doesn't mean I have to be old. Her words, not mine. Anyway, moving on from that, we're going to be talking about Chantel's open chat live. I'm surprised that she did this, to be very honest. She is very incapable of handling criticism, especially when she thinks she's done nothing wrong, which is always. So I was surprised when she decided to come on and essentially just let people say whatever they wanted. And it went as poorly as everyone can expect. Now, I didn't watch the whole thing. I'll be very frank with you. I watched the highlights that JustSayin put up. I am trying my best to keep up with Chantel, but sometimes the amount of stuff she puts on there just makes it a little overwhelming. So in the interest of trying to get stuff out, once in a while, if JustSayin or someone else is doing God's work and putting up a compilation of just like the best bits, I'll just watch that. Makes my life easier. And then I don't have to worry about like wasting 45 hours trying to find like the 5 minutes worth of information in her lives that I actually want to talk about. So all credit goes to JustSayin. This is her video, not mine. And please go subscribe and like and do all those fun things if you guys haven't already done so. With all that said, let's jump into it. I think I've condensed JustSayin's video down to about 7 minutes. I recommend watching her original, but like I don't have the need to address everything that Chantel says. Some of it is just stuff that she says that's just there for us to absorb, and I don't have any comments on it. So when that happens, I just don't include it. I know this is very early to be stopping in her video, but she's been picking and playing with her nose a lot more, especially since the reconnection with Dom happened. Even before that, you know, she'd been playing with her nose a lot more. It's weird how her allergies just seem to come and go like that. Partner has asthma and he has allergies, and his seem pretty consistent. Either they're there or they're not there. They don't seem to come and go like this regardless of the season, you know? It makes me suspicious, honestly. There's a lot of stuff that she does that makes me suspicious. This is just another one of those things. The thing that I find even more suspicious and weird is how blatantly she's doing it online. And the best way that I can describe the vibe that it gives me is her essentially coming on camera and saying, I bet you can't. I bet you can't convince people that I'm doing this. I dare you. I dare you to call me out. It's the attitude that I pick up from this. Now, I could be wrong. I could be reading into it what I want to read into it. Most of us do, right? Like I said, like everything that we talk about here is just a story we tell about a story. And so sometimes my interpretation of events is not correct. But she seems like she's daring her audience, the reactors, anyone watching to call her on her bullshit. It's another way of trying to get a rise out of us is the best way that I can put it. She's always been attention hungry, but it's just been more and more and more. The other thing I will say is that she plays a lot with her hair throughout this video, so, you know, it is what it is.
I can't have sex in the sunlight. Because, hello? What will happen? Look at my boobs. Oh, you missed it. It's so full of hair stuff. Come on, you voluminous. You motherfucker. Come on, whip. Why don't you buy the clip-in hair pieces to make your hair look fuller? You know what? I should.
So I don't know if clip-in hair pieces would necessarily be the route that I would recommend her going. I know she talks a lot, and she will talk a lot more about it later on. I've left some clips in here of her talking about her hair, where she says that, oh, you know, my hair is falling out. I need to do better with my nutrition. Maybe some of those vitamins I'm taking will have effect. I don't know how much of her hair loss is because of vitamins. She was balding even before she had, you know, done her surgery and had her ovaries and everything removed. So I don't even know if it's a hormonal change. What I think it is I think she has male pattern baldness. Now, I could be wrong, of course, but if you guys have been on the internet, you guys know that like keeps is a thing that everyone seems to recommend, and they do target it towards men, but there are like basically only 2 things that help people like clinically proven to prevent hair loss. One of them is Rogaine, which is actually pretty effective. And the reason they don't really recommend it for women is because it can cause like negative effects if you're pregnant, but Chantel is not at risk for that. So she should maybe try something like that. I think it will have a lot more effect than, you know, vitamins that she's taking. Beyond that, though, if she can use the Rogaine, I don't think the Rogaine will help her grow back the hair that she's lost. I think she should get hair plugs, like the way that sometimes male celebrities do. She definitely has the money for it. And can you imagine how interesting of a vlog that would be? I would definitely be here for that content, to see her go through that process. And it's got nothing to do with her food or anything like that. And if she just makes a little bit of effort, it can really help her cover up an insecurity that has nothing to do with her weight, I think. So I think getting hair plugs would be a great thing for her. If you guys are curious at all about the process of it, one of the Try guys, I think, got hair plugs. I don't know which one. I don't remember. I watch them occasionally. They're nice. I just don't remember all of their names. I know Eugene because I watched a video where they were talking about street fashion, and his fashion is very advanced. He looks very cool all of the time. But like other than that, I don't remember any of them. I know one of them is married. Maybe two of them are married. I don't know why I'm talking about them so much. Anyway, one of them definitely did hair plugs, though, so you guys can go check that out if you would like. Overall, I think that could be a very interesting journey to follow. And if she puts it on her channel, that is a tax-deductible thing. So she could, like, kill two birds with one stone. Whatever the price they charge her for it, it would be like half of it she would have to pay out of pocket, because essentially it is a channel expense, and therefore she doesn't have to pay for all of it out of pocket. I think taxes there, income taxes, are something like 50%. That's a lot of money you're saving.
I think you're right about that. I'm gonna get something. Maybe.
I don't think hair plugs are a great idea. Not hair plugs, sorry. I don't think that clip-ons are a great idea for her, because she so very often has her hair so caked and full of stuff. The textural difference between her real hair and like the fake clip-ons are going to be very, very obvious. She could get extensions, but I don't think she has enough real hair to support that kind of thing, even though she floats that idea later on. You need real hair to be able to blend the extensions in so they don't look weird or unnatural. She doesn't have enough hair to support that, and I don't think clip-ins are going to look great. Maybe she could get something like halo hair, but honestly, her biggest issue is like right here in the middle, you know? And I don't think there's anything that really would help that outside of getting a toupee. And I think for that, you need to have a completely shaved area. So I think hair plugs would be her best bet.
Some extensions. Help me with what? I don't need help. I don't need help with anything. I need food right now. I'm starving.
I left those two and I let them play both back to back because I just want to show something here. She says, I don't need help with anything. She is, as always, very much so in denial about her own behavior, about her own actions, about what she's doing and how she's behaving. And the problem is that because she's built this community of people who are willing to believe her almost given anything, she very much so thinks that everyone will buy it, right? She will put out something that is obviously a lie. Like, we have photographic evidence of the fact that she was doing drugs when she was at Dom's house. And I mean, people could say that maybe that was manipulated or whatever. I don't think so for a fact. Her demeanor there was very different. And you can tell. Chantel, on average, has very little energy to do anything in life. I don't think it's because that's how she is emotionally. I think that's because how she is because she is just lazy. She has very little zeal for life, as it were. So when she has that noticeable uptick in energy and she's acting different, her behavior has been different, and she's playing with her nose more, and you can see flecks of white on her mouth and her nose, obviously we're going to get suspicious. Now, maybe I'm wrong, because there's always the chance that that is true, but I don't think so. And the fact that she doesn't seem to realize just how much help she needs is both sad and scary. Because here she is sitting there saying, I don't need any help. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't need any help. And then immediately she goes, I need food, right? She needs food for the same reason that she needs drugs. People don't choose to become addicts. Some people are addicts because of the circumstances of their lives, and other people take up addiction as a way to cope with something else. And for Chantel, who's been addicted to everything her entire life, it's definitely the latter. And she could get so much better, both in terms of food, in terms of the cocaine, in terms of the attention, in terms of the terrible toxic men she chooses. All of that could get so much better if she only went to therapy, because they all stem from the same place, right? She has this idea that more is more is more is more, and it's not. I mean this very genuinely to everyone who's watching as well, who might be in a relationship, who thinks to themselves, well, it's better than being alone. It's not. Being alone is a preferable state than to being with someone who is leading you down a wrong path, even if it's not something that they're doing on purpose, which I don't think is true for Dom. I think Dom is definitely playing her. I think Dom is definitely taking her down a wrong path. He's definitely using her, you know, for money mostly, I think, for rides, for whatever he can get out of her. And I just want to put it out there for everyone, including Chantel if she ever watches my videos, that you don't have to settle for this. Being alone might suck for a little while, but being with someone who's toxic sucks forever. For as long as you're with them, they're going to drain you emotionally, spiritually, physically, sometimes even like he's doing with Chantel right now. Being alone is not a negative thing. It's not a bad thing. And some people thrive on their own. I have a couple of friends who go traveling by themselves, who go to movies by themselves, and they love it because they take a lot out of it. Learning to love your own company it's an experience. It's a journey, for some people, like it was for me, like I'm sure it will be for Chantel as well. But getting there can lead to good things because you basically teach people how you should be treated. And if you are allowing them to misuse you, then you are setting the precedent for what is acceptable, right? If I get into a relationship and the other person sees that I'm forever a doormat, that I'll do everything, no amount of abuse they give me or negative language they use towards me is ever going to really make me leave, then they might take that as a license to continue to talk to me like shit. And I'm not even talking about an abusive relationship. I'm talking about regular relationships where someone is just kind of shitty towards you, where someone just puts down, you know, your beliefs and thoughts. Being alone is not the worst thing in the world. I just wish she would see that. I just wish that she would see that she can learn to love her own company and that she can get off the extreme medicated phases that she has. Let's call them that, right?
I never came on here crying that I need help with anything, Heather K. I come on here talking about my experiences. I don't ask for help.
Actually, that's a really big lie. Because if you'll remember the live that she had done from her uncle's house right after she'd been taken into rehab and not rehab to the hospital as a consequences of her continued drug use, she'd said that, you know, I need you guys just to be on here to support me because, you know, if I become homeless, I'll just be more into drugs. Now, true, she didn't say the words, I need your help, but she did say, I need something from you. And that's kind of the same thing. And you need them for a lot more than you are giving them credit for here. Right? All of the people that you are talking to right now, whether they are members or not, are actively paying for your life. And I don't mean her lifestyle, right? I mean genuinely her life. Everything in her life. She has no other income stream. To all of my lovely watchers, you guys know this. If anyone ever comes on here and says, well, you know, I'm paying for you to live, so therefore you should do what I want. I don't have to listen to any of you. No offense. I want to because I genuinely like making people happy and I value everyone's opinions, but I don't have to listen to everyone. First, other than this just being my channel, I don't actually make anywhere near enough, I don't think, for anyone to really have a sustainable life from the amount of money that I get from YouTube. It's a self-sustaining hobby for me. That's why my investment into my channel is a lot smaller than Chantel's should be. Now, hers isn't because she's a lazy person and more investment into stuff would mean more investment of her time as well, right? You can buy all the nice software you want for editing, but if you're not going to physically sit down to fucking edit, what difference does it make? Chantel isn't willing to do that. But for her to sit there and talk to people like that when they are literally the ones paying for the clothes on her back, the lipstick on her face, and the drugs in her nose is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Because this is literally biting the hand that feeds you. I don't understand it. Like, I would never go to my boss at my work and just be like, I think that you're an asshole. He's not an asshole. He's genuinely a really nice guy. But I would also never do that, even if he was an asshole. Because you should have some sense of self-perseverance.
All I need is for people to listen, not try to investigate my life. Sorry, but...
Yeah, what she's saying right now is just shut up and listen and don't question anything I tell you ever. It's not how we work. We're not children, first of all. Your audience isn't just full of people who like you and are willing to give you the benefit of the doubt. And last but not least, even if they did like you, not everyone who likes me has to give me the benefit of the doubt when I'm being obviously shitty. And they haven't in the past, which I really appreciate. If they had, I wouldn't be able to grow from my mistakes or my instances of being a crap person. There have definitely been those in my past. So no, that's not how it is. And when you put something out onto the internet, everybody has the right to comment on it. That's why it's called a social media platform. There's a social aspect to it. If you didn't want anybody talking back to you, then fuck, I don't know, get a TV show. Put it on there. Nobody cares other than just viewership at that point. But if you are on a social media like network like YouTube is, where there's a comment section, then you're going to get some comments, and not all of those are going to be nice. And if you can't deal with that, then I don't know what to tell you, buddy. That comes with, as being part and parcel of YouTube. Get off the internet. You weren't drafted to do this job. You can go and find a, I don't know, cashier or clerk at a grocery store if you hate it so much.
It's all about being an addict, and guess what? I'm still clean. People don't believe it, so what do you want me to do? You do or you don't, or you really won't ya?
I mean, that's fair. I mean, there's really no way for her to prove that she isn't doing drugs, other than, I guess, just continued behavior that shows that she isn't doing drugs. She looks a lot worse than she did before. And until I see her get on a scale, I have a very hard time judging if people have lost weight or not. I don't think she's gained a lot of it back yet, but I could be wrong on that. I want her to get on a scale because the fat absorption thing when it comes to cocaine is very real. So I want to see what her weight is. And if her weight has gone down or remained the same given how she's eating, I'd be real suspicious, especially because she confirmed in one of these live streams that she's no longer taking the Ozempic. So if she's still somehow like losing weight or keeping a maintenance weight right now when she's eating the way that she has been eating without the Ozempic, then something is suspicious. But she hasn't gotten on the scale. Now, that could just be simply because she, you know, hasn't lost any more weight, because she's gained weight and she doesn't want to put that on there. I don't know. Could be a variety of things. But until I see that, I'm not willing to believe that she has stopped doing drugs. And by the way, even if she did lose weight, or sorry, even if she did gain weight as a result of her eating, right? I still might not believe her because there's a lot of talk right now of the different things she could have transitioned onto. Smokey Stephen Mark made a video talking about the way that she was behaving and the way that heroin addicts sometimes behave. And quite frankly, while I would have thought maybe a month ago or 2 months ago that this would be beyond Chantel, she would never. At this point, I don't think anything is beyond her, especially when she continues to be in the company of someone like Dom who pushes her into worse and worse behavior. So I don't know. And she has made comments about Dom in the past that have indicated that he is an intravenous drug user, which generally that tends to be heroin. So I hope that she is telling the truth. But as always, I remain highly skeptical, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was entirely a lie. Quite frankly, I don't really believe her. I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised. Let's just put it that way.
I don't need people to feel bad for me. I don't ask people to feel bad. I come on here and say what I have to say, live my life.
That's absolutely a lie. She's put out multiple videos on her channel literally begging for sympathy and understanding and love and support. The biggest example of that would be her fast food funeral, which I don't think is on her channel anymore, but if you guys want to see a react to it, I think the best react I saw was from Milk Tea Reacts, and I think that was the first video she ever did, and it was fantastic. She talked about Chantel's fast food funeral and all the things that were wrong with it. And Chantel has these periodically, right, where she'll have a full breakdown and she's like, I'm killing myself, I can't believe I'm doing this, I need to get better, you know, I don't want to die, and all these things, especially in the wake of either intense criticism where she feels like she needs the extra sympathy from the audience, or in the wake of a intense medical incident. So I think she's well due for one. She had one where she went to the ER and that didn't get her what she wants. So I think another one is coming up. And maybe that's very skeptical of me to say, but things with Chantel tend to run in a cycle. And Chantel is, well, let's just say she's good at convincing people that she needs your love and support without ever saying the words that she needs your love and support. Because then she can go back and she can do this. It's highly manipulative, and I don't believe her for a second. She definitely tries to play on people's sympathy and emotions. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean, people are not going to believe it, but, I mean, I wouldn't be eating. I wouldn't be sleeping. You have no life.
Well, I don't know if she sleeps or not. Chantel's schedule has never really been great. One of the first videos I did on my channel was talking about her saying that maybe she'll just go completely nocturnal and she'll sleep during the day and then she'll stay awake all night. So her schedule has never been really normal. So she could just be sleeping on the times where she isn't on live. We don't know. We simply cannot have any way of saying. Like for me, if I put a video of me recording like in the middle of the night, like I often do, and then I come out to you guys and say, well, you know, I sleep, or, you know, whatever. If I put out videos of me from the middle of the night, right, you guys can firmly say, okay, she might have slept late, but she probably slept. Because I work normal, regular work hours. I wouldn't be able to make those if I was up all night and, you know, just doing whatever, and then I wasn't sleeping during the day. But for Chantal, who has such a flexible work schedule, who is often just gone for whatever reason without explanation, she could just be sleeping whenever, and we'd never know. We'd literally never know.
I like it that way. Thank you. Is weed not a drug? Is my antidepressant not one?
There's a big difference between your antidepressant and the weed that you're taking. The antidepressant comes in prescribed doses that are studied by a doctor, and they're given to you to help you with a problem. The weed that you're consuming without any consultation from a doctor, without any input from anybody else, without looking at any of the evidence for what you're trying to treat with it. Theoretically, Ritalin is a drug too. I don't know why I'm saying theoretically. It is a drug. For people who have ADHD, Ritalin can be very, very helpful. For people who don't have ADHD, Ritalin acts like, I think it's like diet meth, essentially. So when she comes on here and she says stuff like that, it can be a medicine. It absolutely can be. If you were talking to a doctor, it would be a medicine. If you were doing this under some sort of plan, it would be. But you often just take whatever dose you feel like that day, and then you're just hammered out of your mind. That's not what the point of medication is. You shouldn't be beyond the ability to make rational decisions when you're taking almost any medication. And if you are, you might want to talk to your doctor about it. So no, well, technically it can be. The way you're using it is most definitely not. And I really fucking wish she was taking her antidepressants. But given how lackadaisical she is about a lot of her medication, I wouldn't be surprised if she's just like, no, I don't need to. I'm using the weed to combat all of that. That's not the point of weed. That's not the reason why you should be using it. It's one thing to use it to relax every once in a while, like people do with taking like a drink or 2 drinks. It's completely other to be blasted out of your mind all goddamn day and night.
Maybe the problem isn't drugs, it's the abuse of drugs, and which ones we use. Legal ones, yes. Maybe you're clean, I don't see any withdrawals.
I mean, she's not wrong, but I don't know how this applies to her case because she's literally abusing drugs, both legal and illegal.
I don't think I wasn't on it very long, right? Yes.
I don't think cocaine has a very long life in that way. I think that cocaine has more of an emotional down than anything else. I think a lot of the ones that have like physical like withdrawal symptoms, like alcohol has really bad physical withdrawal symptoms. I don't think cocaine is one of them, but I could also be wrong. Like I said, this is not something that I'm an expert in. Any information I know I've gleaned just from looking it up, and I'm still in the process of educating myself on it. I'm reading a couple books. I can leave those down below. Well, reading. I'm audiobooking it. I don't have the time to read, sadly, right now. But I am listening to a couple of audiobooks about addiction right now. So once I have a clearer picture of it, I can give more comments. But until then, I don't like speaking about stuff that I don't know anything about, especially because I know a lot of people on here will listen to like my opinion, maybe a couple other opinions, and then take that to be a fact. And if you have anyone in your life who's suffering from addiction, I don't want what I say to impact the way that you would deal with them, essentially.
Comparing prescription drugs to weed, Xanax or weed? I'll take the weed.
That's because if you took Xanax the way that you take weed, you'd run out of Xanax, and then you'd have to try and con some out of a pharmacist. Because weed is much more easily available because it's much less regulated in Canada right now. Since they approved it for recreational use, online dispensaries have been popping up everywhere. And while they're not legal, let me rephrase that. Let me repeat that. They are not legal, okay? To deal weed in Canada, you have to have it within a certain milligrams that you can consume for people. And the stuff that she's getting, like the shatter bears and stuff, are way, way higher in concentration. So they're not legal, exactly. But they operate in a gray area in that they're not really prosecuted either. So people don't care. They say it's a victimless crime. Weed is relatively safe, and it is. But for her, the dependency, the issues don't come with the fact that it is physically harmful for her. It is emotionally harmful for her. It numbs her from feeling anything. And that is not a state in which anybody should exist.
I'm not going back. You wanted me to come on here.
Yes, people do want her to come on here, genuinely, but not the way that, ooh, I've done her wrong with the freeze frame. People do want her to come back on here. That's mostly because, A, it's either sycophants who like watching her being inebriated out of her mind or eating herself to death on camera, or it's people who like to see how much they can get her triggered and angry. It doesn't mean that you should listen to them. The audience isn't here to dictate your life. If you didn't want to be on camera, you shouldn't have been on camera. And quite frankly, nobody needed to see your ass either.
Do I like wigs? No, I hate wearing them. But I will have to, I'm sure. Too ugly and bald. Nothing wrong with being bald.
There's nothing wrong with wearing a wig either. If I didn't find them incredibly hot and itchy, I would wear a wig. Do you know how much easier it would be to not have to deal with my hair all the time? It is finicky and annoying. And people who can pull wigs off and who know how to do that lace front stuff, oh my God, that's a talent. Those things are gorgeous. But it's not for everyone. She doesn't want to wear it. She doesn't have to. But I do think that maybe transitioning to wearing wigs would be easier for her, especially if she would shave down her real hair, because then she doesn't have to worry about the amount of gross that she gets in it either. I don't know if she will or she won't. I think plugs is still the best option for her, but you know.
I think I should just shave my fucking head.
Yeah? Gross.
My family's so proud of me right now.
Yeah. She says that like it's a joke, but quite frankly, if I was her family, I'd be horrified at the way that Chantal behaves. This is sad and it's pathetic. And I don't mean in the way that, you know, like, oh, what will people think? In Southeast Asian families, I'm sure in other cultures as well, but I can only speak for my own. In Southeast Asian cultures, there's a really big emphasis on log kya kahenge. Like, what will people think? And I don't think you should live your life for that, but there are cultural and societal norms put in place for a reason, right? And farting, showing your ass on camera, like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with sex work, but that's not what she's doing. She's essentially just pretending like she doesn't want to do sex work. Like if OnlyFans was still an option open to her, she would have taken that. But rather than making it official, she wants to live in this middle area where she can say, well, I didn't do that. It was totally an accident. What, you're shaming me now? Because she wants the out. The way that she behaves is not acceptable by most society standards. She lives a hedonistic, selfish lifestyle where all she cares about is her own happiness and her own pleasure. And any time she's inconvenienced in any way or she behaves negatively in any way, it's everybody else's fault. Her burping and doing this, it's disgusting. Nobody really wants to see it outside of some small minority of people who get off on it. But the fact that she doesn't care and she continues to indulge in it. Do you guys remember she had that one live? I think she was driving at some point and she said to someone, she's like, you know, put a 1 in the chat if you think that like fart jokes are funny. And like nobody in her audience was with her. Because I don't think most people like her because of that stuff. That's not like, it's humor that's fine for like 8-year-olds, but at some point you have to grow out of it. She's choosing not to grow out of it and that's on her. But it is disgusting. And so when she comes on here and she says that, oh, well, you know, my family, you know, is probably so proud of me. They're probably saddened to see you like this. They're probably disgusted that this is what you choose to do with your life. Your mom, who's raised you all the way from infancy to now, has to watch this person who she gave, I'm sure, birth to under difficult circumstances, you know, since she was so young. Labor is painful as shit, it's dangerous, and it shortens a woman's life. And she chose to do all that for someone who lies to her, who does not value her, who finds her presence and her continuous checking up on her to be annoying, who doesn't seem to give much of a shit about anybody in her life, and who behaves in such a manner that would not be dignified on the internet. Who doesn't seem to value her own life. Yeah, I would be heartbroken. If that was my kid, I would be heartbroken. To be honest with you though, if that was my kid, I would have saved every red penny I had, sold everything I goddamn well owned and made sure they went to an inpatient treatment. I don't know much about the people whose families suffer as well, you know, from addiction. Like I said, the only person in my personal life who has an addiction, quote unquote, well, it is a real addiction, but it's not debilitating the way these are, is someone who smokes. That's it. That's like the closest I've ever come. So when she comes on here and she does this stuff, and I think, why doesn't her mom do anything? The only thing that comes to my mind, what I would do in that situation would be, I would sell everything I would have and I would make sure that my child went into an inpatient treatment center where they would receive the best possible care that I could provide them with.
How big is my friend?
sorry, I should just say, I'm not shaming her mom. Everybody makes different decisions. I am not Chantel's parent, and I'm sure that Chantel was not a difficult child to deal with, nor do I think everyone has to do that. I just look at the situation where she says, oh, my parents would be so proud of me in a joking way, and I think her parents must be heartbroken all of the time. That's all I meant to say. I'm not shaming her parents, by the way, and if you have anyone in your life and that's not what you chose to do, that's not at all what my tirade was about. This is just, that's what I would do. That's just where my mind goes to. That's what I would do to deal with it. That doesn't mean that everyone should do that. That's not to say that that's right for everyone.
8 or 9 inches?
There's lots of things I want to say to this. Very mean things mostly. What I will say is this. She went live from her friend's bed when her friend obviously did not want her to, and no one asked her to, because she really wants everyone to know. So when she's in that kind of a mindset, I don't think I'm willing to believe that she is the kind of person who would be, let's say truthful about the size of her friend.
And I knew it wasn't the right dick pic, one you showed me before, because I can tell the shape.
I don't know about if she believed the dick pics were real or not, but she was definitely big mad after that, if you guys remember. She lost her whole goddamn shit. So she believed something about them was real.
Why don't I care about my audience? I'm still trying to be fun and likable.
You don't care about your audience because you're not giving them any of the things that they want. People have asked you repeatedly to make video content again. You've chosen not to do that. People have asked you repeatedly to talk about something other than dom and drugs, and you've chosen not to do that. People have asked you repeatedly to do multiple things, like bring back the Time Warp series that everybody loves. When you choose not to do that, when you disregard what your audience wants, then obviously you don't care about your audience.
Oh, I see. So I have to put on an image to be likable. I don't think I'm ever going to be the person who, like, improves myself to the point of starting, it's going to be noticeable. Like,
I don't think that this sentence needed that last part. I think she could have just stopped at, I don't think I'm ever going to be the person who makes improvements, self-improvements. And it's not a lie to try and be likable on the internet. It's just a matter of consideration. People, not everybody likes the same kind of person, right? There is an audience out there for every sort of personality. And there are going to be people out there who just like Chantel, as there obviously are. So she doesn't have to put on an air of being kind or nice or whatever. You know, if that was true, then Tommy Lahren wouldn't have an audience. She is not kind to anybody, really, unless they look exactly like her. So you don't need to be kind or nice. You could be bitchy and you could still get an audience. What you do have to be, though, is honest. And she's not, which is why she tends to lose people so often, right? You can lie to your audience for a certain amount of time and they'll believe you, right? You can be deceptive and manipulative to a certain amount and they'll believe you. But after that point, once you've lost their trust, you've lost their trust. And outside of a very small core group of hardcore flunkies, no, her audience isn't buying it anymore, nor should they, quite frankly. Chantel has shown us no reason why she should be believed.
it's boring.
It's not boring, it's difficult, and you don't want to do it. You don't like doing anything that's difficult. It's easier to label it as being boring so you don't have to engage with it, when fundamentally what it is hard work. Self-improvement is not easy. Self-improvement takes work. It's not fun. Going to a therapist isn't fun. Literally, the days when I have a therapy appointment, like, I feel wrecked. It's awful and I hate it, but I do it because that's what it takes for me to be a better person. And by better, I don't mean like some sort of holier than thou individual. I just mean a person who's more content with their life. What's that saying, like, you know, the strength to know the difference, something like that. It's like, please teach me the wisdom to know what I can change, the strength to change what I can't, and like something to know the difference. I don't remember what the saying is, but genuinely it's of that sort. The biggest thing that I have learned from therapy is to understand what is within my realm of influence. Where is that locus of control? right? For things in my life, for difficult issues I'm having, where is that locus of control? Is it internal to me? Can I change something internally about myself to fix the issue? Or is it external to me, in which case I should stop worrying about it? You could genuinely get, I mean, everyone, whether you're suffering from mental illness or not, you can get so much out of therapy. Therapy is great. Therapists are undervalued, I swear.
I mean, like, in the sense that, you know, starting a specific diet, I don't know. I am nice, and I don't lie. You guys think I lie about everything. I don't.
I don't know if she lies about everything, but she does lie about quite a bit, and she exaggerates about a lot as well. So, like, her story times are mostly fake. I'm 100% convinced about that. As for sticking to a particular diet, I don't think that's what they mean when they say self-improvement. It's an internal process as much as it is external. You don't have to eat a particular type of diet. She could still eat her Nashville hot chickens, but she would just have to eat maybe one sandwich every couple of days rather than 3 in one day.
Okay, what do I lie about? I lied to you guys about, I kept the truth from you guys with doing stuff.
See that distancing? I lied to you guys. I kept the truth. No, you didn't. Keeping the truth would be a lie of omission, not the same, but definitely better. You actively lied. You actively said that French Fry Girl was making things up when she wasn't. She saw something that the rest of us didn't.
Because that's not something I want to admit. I actually wish I could retract. No, I don't. You know what?
She can't retract. I just
want to be able to say what I want to say.
She wishes she could retract, but she can't. That is a bridge too far for even her. She can't retract. It's not easy for you to take back something as serious as a confession of drugs, you know?
That's it. Lie about everything. That's too vague. What do I lie about?
It's too vague. Everything. You lie about almost everything. You're lying about who your friend is, even though you confirm it later on that it is in fact Dom. That everybody guessed that. You knew everybody would guess that if you had any kind of brain cells. If you had a functioning brain, you would know that it would be Dom. But the fact that she chose not to say anything is a lie of omission. Now, I'm not saying that she's not allowed to do that. I'm not even saying that it's wrong. I am telling you for a fact right now, there are some things about my personal life that I do not tell you guys. And sometimes I talk around them and sometimes I leave them out altogether because they are personal. Right? With all due love and respect, it is none of your business. I don't want people to know, so I just don't mention it on my channel. That's not what she does. She hints, she talks about it, and then she retracts and she pulls back. Then she talks about it a little bit more, then she retracts and she pulls back. Because what she wants is that engagement of people discussing it and talking about it and talking about it. But she doesn't give us any of the pertinent information to decide whether what is real, what is happening, and what is not. Because if she did tell us that, if she did tell us all that information, then we could definitively call her on her bullshit. But she wants the deniability of it.
I don't want, like, literally, like what? I don't do drugs on the camera. Oh, you mean the... Don't be vague. That's not lying.
You lie all the time. Vagueness is a tool, but she lies all of the time. She hides things all of the time that don't need to be hidden, or that she rephrases. Like, do you remember when she said she's going to get on the list for the weight loss surgery stuff, and then we found out later that she didn't even submit the paperwork required, right? You said that you were working behind the scenes to get that done. Then we find out you didn't even submit the paperwork. So is that a lie or not? Because it is, if nothing else, it's a lie of omission. I would say it's an out-and-out lie because you led us in one direction, and then you drop the ball, and then you can later come back on and say, well, I never said that I had submitted the paperwork. You might not have said it, but you sure as hell implied it, right?
When people ask, I don't have to answer you.
You don't.
So just because I don't tell you every single thing you want to know, that I'm lying and that I owe you that information?
Nope. She doesn't owe anybody that information. She doesn't. She simply doesn't. She can choose not to keep any of that information. But people have a right to ask. If you have an open chat and you're relying on your chat for topics to talk about in your live, which is about your life, then it is up to them to ask you repetitively a few times. You can block them if you choose to, but it is up to them to ask. And when members are asking you that, it's even more their right to ask you these questions. Because you hint at it enough and you bring it up enough on your channel that people have the right to talk about it. People might have the mistaken impression that you would want to talk about it, given that you have talked about it in the past, given that you have hinted at it. So don't turn this around on people like that.
Are you going to Montreal? Tomorrow I am, yeah, with my friend. I don't know if we should do a video or a live stream. What am I doing? I don't think I'm doing anything wrong for fun. You know?
It's not that she's doing anything wrong, which she is, right? Doing illegal drugs is a thing that she is doing that is wrong. Because it is not fun. It's something that shatters people's lives. It impacts everybody around them. It ruins families and individuals and leads generally to death. So she is doing wrong things for fun. Now, whether those things are legal drugs or illegal drugs is quite honestly immaterial to me as far as I'm concerned. It is concerning, don't get me wrong, but the fact that she's doing them at all is the thing that we should be discussing. Because if she is doing drugs, if she is using weed to that extent, and then she's driving afterwards, the consequences can be just as severe if she was driving, if she was highly intoxicated with alcohol, or if she was highly intoxicated with cocaine.
Just get it out of your head. I don't like the color, I don't like to knit. I want to do things I like to do that are fun for me to do.
There is nothing that's fun for her to do because nothing in her life she's ever invested any amount of energy into. There's a lot of things that Chantal could do that could bring her some joy, but she chooses not to engage with them at all. She hasn't tried. How does she know she doesn't like knitting? She's never knitted before. How does she know she doesn't like coloring? She doesn't color. How does she know that she doesn't like mountain biking? She's never been able to do that. How does she know she doesn't like, I don't know, doing long hikes, taking picnics on the beach? She's never done any of those things. She's never tried any of those things. I have, this is my hobby, right? Making videos on the internet is one of my hobbies. Another hobby I have is I like reading. I like watching movies a lot. I love listening to weird critical videos discussing like in-depth niche topics that nobody really has the time for, right? That's the sort of stuff I like. I love going traveling. You guys already know about that. That is like my number one thing. I love traveling. Love, love, love traveling. So when she comes on here and she goes, well, I don't like doing any of those things. I just want to do the things that are fun. The only things you seem to find fun are things that are actively leading you to your grave. And I think the reason that she likes them is because they're actively leading her to her grave. I think she'd rather die on what she considers to be her own terms than live under any other. And that's not noble.
Yeah, I could probably just go back to the videos, edit.
I wish, please.
You know, honestly, I have the most fun when I'm just coming on here eating and beezing and talking about guys. That's what I like doing.
Sorry about that, but yeah, that's because it requires absolutely no effort from you, and you get to do all the things that you like, right? You get to eat, you get to draw in the attention of people, and you get to be high on drugs, or whatever it is she's using beezing to mean right now.
And I'm not looking for accountability. I'm just here, like I said, you guys are just an ear.
Yeah.
You're allowed to give your feedback, fine, but...
Okay. Well, we will give you all of our feedback. So since you've given us permission, thank you for that, madam. I didn't need that. I didn't realize that freedom of speech was limited by what Chantal said it was limited to. And as far as her saying that she doesn't want accountability, well, at least she's honest. At least she's being honest here. Chantal's never wanted accountability. She says she wants it because it sounds good, but in reality, Chantal's not about that. Anyone calling her on a bullshit, she immediately boots out of her life. I both believe that's both in person and on the internet.
No, it's not alternative to therapy, but it does help. It is therapeutic. No.
It doesn't count as therapeutic if you're not doing it under the guidance of like someone who knows what they're doing. You're just indulging, being stoned out of your mind beyond like reasonable ability for human people to even think is not therapeutic. That's not anywhere near the realm of therapy. That's addiction.
I'm actually not thinking of the chat at all. I have a friggin' friend. Friggin' freak out on me. I got another friend freak out on me. I don't need friends. You know what? I don't want any friends in my life right now.
And she doesn't have any for this exact reason. Because she doesn't have any ability to introspect in what she could be doing that could be leading to that outcome. And she does. She does a lot, right? Like, for example, I don't think Reina and her are really friends anymore either. They might be like, hey, hi, hello friends, acquaintances, but not actually friends anymore. Because she's ditched Reina enough times that Reina's tired of her bullshit.
I can't fucking handle it.
Yeah. She can't fucking handle anybody giving her any kind of pushback. If they're not 100% accepting of her pattern of behavior, then obviously they're not a real friend. And she's displayed that in every avenue of her life.
I do nothing and people get mad at me.
Yeah.
Dumb shit.
You do nothing and people get mad at you. That's exactly the problem. You're literally not doing anything. You're not doing anything to improve what you're currently going through. You're not doing anything to improve the fact that you are addicted to drugs. You're not doing anything to help you get better. You're not going to therapy. You're not talking to a therapist. You're not taking your medication when you should be. You're not confiding in friends and family. You're not going, then you're not scheduling your second appointment for taking a COVID test. You're not taking Pete's to the comic book store to see his mom when you said you would. You're not cleaning the house like you promised you would. You're not cooking food like you promised you would. You're not making videos like you promised you would. You're not taking a shower like you promised you would. So yes, people are getting mad at you for not doing anything. Your inaction is one of the biggest reasons why people get mad at you. You seem to think that you do nothing and things just happen to you. But choosing not to do a thing is also an action. It might be a passive one, but you're allowing things like this to happen. Sorry, the light is changing very dramatically outside. It is, in fact, golden hour, so enjoy my green sultry eyes. I got very distracted. I just mean to say that choosing to be lazy about your own life and then getting upset that people are upset at you for being lazy about your own life is an idiotic premise to have. Improve your life or don't. But if you choose not to, people can feel a way about it.
No, not Shannon. No, I just had a friend freak out on me. They watched my videos. And I just, I don't know, they felt blown off and I don't know.
See how she's not willing to put words to why they're mad? They must have said something. I'm mad at you for this. Very rarely do people are like, I no longer want to be friends with you, or I'm mad at you, but then they don't turn around and give you a reason as to why. She doesn't want to tell us because that would mean that she would have to explain her part in this, and she doesn't like that.
Just made some nasty comments to me, like snooty, like, yo, hey.
She is snooty.
God.
You
so
are?
Yeah, that upset me a bit.
Yeah, God forbid you absorb what anything anyone else is saying. And she is snooty. She's a snooty bitch. We've seen this all the time. Chantel is one of the bitchiest people I've seen on the internet.
Look at it this way. If you guys were... Let's just say you were down and out. Would you want somebody not caring about you and helping you? Like, I'm not saying I'm doing that, but I don't get why people find that shameful.
I would hope that if I was down and out and I really needed support, that people would see that I needed support and provide me with the kind of support I needed, which is not always unconditional love and understanding and empathy. Sometimes you need to be called on your shit so you can improve who you are as a person. And I would hope that my friends loved me enough to do that. That they would look at what I was doing and figure out what I needed and go based on that, not just whatever was easiest for me or for them. Because if you're just giving people what they want without any regard to what they need, then you are an enabler and you are enabling their life. Entirely possible that all you're enabling is just them, but also possible that you're enabling an addiction, which is the case for Chantel's chat. And they should feel ashamed for how they're behaving. They should feel ashamed for the part they play in all this.
If you let someone use you to the point of them, like, bankrupting you and stuff, then yeah, that's different, obviously. But
she's talking about Dom here, by the way, if any of you guys aren't aware. She is supporting Dom right now. I think he is in between jobs. She's paying for everything. She's taking him everywhere. And she's saying, well, I'm just trying to be nice. I just want to support him. I just want to do what they want. But I think he's using her. I think he knows that she will do just about anything for him. And not really for him, the person, but him, the idea, and the drugs that he can provide her with. And he is milking her for every penny she has. I would feel a lot more upset about that if Chantel had shown any ability to be a kinder, nicer person. But she hasn't. All she's shown me is that she doesn't want any accountability and she wants to be a trash heap all of the time. And if that's what she wants, then go be it. I'm still going to have thoughts and opinions on it, but that doesn't mean that I have to feel the sympathy that I would for anybody else in that situation.
I need to get on some better nutrition too, and hormone replacements and everything. So it's definitely going to take time for my hair to get healthier.
Won't help, I don't think. I mean, all this could be solved by a visit to the doctor. God forbid she actually do that, though.
I do have a bra, it's just that, oh!
And it looks like you turned the wrong way.
You guys, how do you know I'm not the one that's into drugs? You know, like, you guys really just don't know a lot about the situation I'm in. I just feel I'm speculating, so it drives me nuts because I wish I could be like, no, that's not what I'm doing. But I think just for me, it's healthier probably to be private about a lot of things.
Healthier for her means easier for her, not actually healthier in the way that most other people would describe. As far as her being into drugs, I'm sure she is. She said before that she like used to use, and she said even now that, you know, she does a bunch of things every once in a while. I don't know what the truth of that is, but I think that Chantel has been an addict most of her life, and she's just transferred one addiction to the other for as long as she has been aware of it. As far as, you know, just her being the one who's encouraging the drug use, I don't think that's possible at all. Because if she was the one, the mastermind behind the drugs, then he would have turned to her and said, hey, can you get me stuff? But that's not how it went. Neither partner and I are big into drug use. Actually, we don't do any drugs that are illegal. And several of the ones that are legal we don't do anyway. That's why if partner ever turned around to me and said, hey, can you get me some E? I would be like, bitch, where? Like, where do I get that from? How would I know? You figure it out. And he would be just as clueless, right? Because that's what happens when you're in a relationship when neither one of you knows what's up with that. And the person who does know would be the person who would get the drugs. So if she's saying that she's the one who is big into drugs, then he would have turned to her and he would have said, hey, can you get us the stuff? And she would have had a contact. But she didn't. He did. He had the contact. He had a way of figuring out where to get the drugs, and in a lot of cases, he just seemed to have them lying around.
You guys have to agree, like, I'm
No,
not
we
trying to
don't.
lie to people. I just don't want to DUI.
She does want to lie to people. She will do whatever it takes to make it easier on herself to exist on her channel the way that she is. Absolutely, she will lie. She will lie, she will cheat, she will steal, she will do almost just about anything. I'm not saying like murder, but I mean in the realm of being dishonest. She will do just about anything if it means she doesn't have to owe up to her mistakes and making her life easier.
DUI for what? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere today.
Not today.
DUI. You have to be under influence of something.
Yeah. And she has been.
People think I'm stupid. Like, I'm gonna drive, especially under the influence. Especially after being live.
She says that a lot, but then there's a picture of her literally later on this day wearing the same outfit in the car on her Instagram. So we've seen her, even if she wasn't on drugs, even if, say, that wasn't a factor, she still gets on live, eats with one hand, other hand off the wheel of the car while she's reading the chat on her phone. That is still driving while compromised. So you still deserve to get a ticket. I 100% feel that Chantel needs to have her driver's license taken away. And I understand that being immobile in that way will probably lead to weight gain for her, and she'll probably become even more unhealthy. But the idea that she could get into a car accident and kill somebody is too high. People don't deserve to suffer for Chantel's poor behavior.
And actually, you guys were like wrong about like everything except that I catch that I relapsed from you.
Sure, and we're supposed to believe you because why?
I just like to have fun, you know?
How is doing drugs alone in your room fun? I really want to know. She said this so many times. She's like, well, I just like to have fun. I just like to party. Is it a party when you're by yourself, doing hard drugs in your home by yourself, alone? How is that fun? Where is the fun in that?
Well, I am a dysfunctional person too, which I know. I'm not stupid. No.
Addicts aren't stupid for the most part. I don't think Chantel's stupid. I think that she is impulsive and terrible, and I think Amber Lynn's definitely smarter than her, but I don't think Chantel is stupid. She thinks we're stupid, though. She has main character syndrome, where she thinks the world revolves around her, nothing bad will ever happen to her, there will be no consequences for her action, and the world has essentially propped her up to think this way because she so far had no negative consequences, none of the ones she cares about at any rate. Right? True, she could no longer have a kid, but she never really wanted a kid in the first place. True, baby broke up with her, but hey, look at all the D she's getting now. So I don't think so. I don't think that Chantel really understands that it's not about stupidity. It's about the fact that she thinks that she is above consequences, and she often displays that on her channel.
I'm working on myself.
No, you're not.
How do you know I didn't quit? You're just assuming. That's what I'm saying. Like, why am I bothered defending myself against stupid accusations that aren't even true? So there's no point.
Because we can't believe you. That's why people keep accusing you of stuff. We cannot believe anything that comes out of your mouth because you are a liar and you're an admitted liar. And more importantly, that you actively want us to be guessing about this stuff. That's why you continuously bring up this stuff on your channel. It's interesting to you because then it brings in audience views, money, all of that good stuff, the stuff that keeps your channel alive.
The people are not going to believe me anyway, so...
Fair enough.
What is the point in this?
Fair enough.
Can you tell me what the point is? Because I don't see it. Think what you want then. If you're going to think what you want anyway.
Fair enough. She doesn't have to keep defending herself, but she will because she wants people to believe her, because her channel depends on people believing her.
People demand answers and then don't believe you, so why... My hair's too thin. So why even bother? Like, why bother defending myself? Troll satisfaction. Hey, you're right. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's not just gonna happen overnight. I need to go to, I know, years of therapy, I'm sure. And all this other crap. And yes, I need to get the ball rolling. Well,
years of other therapy and crap. Shows you how much she values getting better and living a normal, healthy life.
Reschedule my thing, yes. I gotta do that first. Thank you.
God, she still hasn't done it.
Thank you.
She still hasn't done it. She still hasn't done any of the stuff that she needs to. I gotta reschedule it. I gotta submit the paperwork. I gotta go do therapy and crap. She still treats it with the same dismissive attitude that we've always seen from her. Well, that will be it for my Chantal video. Almost every video that she makes now makes me mad in some way or the other. So, you know, I'm trying to be as sympathetic to her as possible. I'm sorry if this didn't come across as a video where I was being very sympathetic. Quite honestly, she's straining my ability to be kind to her sometimes. And I do want to be kind to her because I think Chantal is a woman that suffers under a myriad of mental health conditions that she has exacerbated and exacerbated and exacerbated because she's unwilling to take care of herself. And she's made herself the world's problem and victim at the same time. So I'm unsure how this video will come across. I hope it wasn't as mean as I thought it was. Sometimes I'm kinder than I think I am in videos, and then people are like, you shouldn't give her so much space. And then other times I come across a lot meaner than I mean to be, and people are like, well, that was really hurtful of you. And both are fair, right? Like, it just depends. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated this video, you can go ahead and give me a thumbs down. That's totally okay. I respect everybody's opinions here. Subscribe if you haven't. Can't talk. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below and hit all when you want to know when I upload any videos right away. As always, I've got all my social medias linked down below. I've got Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. So if you like the job I'm doing here and you would like me to continue, hey, consider tossing a few coins in my direction. I do monthly videos, like one special react or retro react for my patrons every month. I'm hoping to do more than just give them shout outs. It's the same for everyone. I just recently changed the rewards. It's just whatever you feel like giving. I have some really, really amazing patrons who are really helping me keep this channel alive. And I'm so close to getting the camera and stuff I want. I'm really excited. I want to give a special shout out to my $25 patron, D. Higgins. Thank you, girl. I love you. And as always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel. And I am not relatable. Peace. A special thank you to my patrons, Acrophobe, Ariel M, Christina, Courtney EP, Wild Rose, Xanthal, Jam Beans, Colleen L, Debbie Elliott, Just a Jude, Kate O, and D. Higgins.